pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this starts our public hearing on the sale of the West Sweden sub-transmission line. Of course, it's the same thing that's in our bids. So you all have a copy of this thing. Our lawyers looked this over.
Reed Lando has blessed it?
No, Mark Boylan,
Okay, he is, okay.
he looked it over and he went back and forth with grid lawyers and he's comfortable with this.
Okay. Well, our hands are tied pretty much. This was part of the 2003 agreement that the village has signed with National Grid, so
Right.
really just fulfilling the end of that contract.
Correct. Yep, they had the option to do this and they
Exercise.
exercising that option, purchase. That was agreed upon in the original contract, so.
Joe, can we move on with the meeting, and if anybody comes in,
I don't think you
we have
can.
to say it?
I don't think you can. I believe you have to wait for 15 minutes in case
Okay.
somebody comes in. Then you go out of this, make a motion to go out
Um,
and move on to our regular meeting. I know.
A lot of dead tape then, huh?
Yeah.
Got the thing here with financials. First page shows what our balances are in each fund. So you can see that the cash is doing extremely well in general fund. We just got all our tax money in, so that's why it's so high. The night class funds are up to 5.16 interest rate.
Wow.
So, last month was it was almost 5. It was 4.94, something like that. I mean, we made $8,400 in interest in 1 month.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
It's more than we could get in a whole year.
Yeah, so, I mean, if it stays, if the interest rates went up, so, I mean, we could realize about $100,000 in revenue from interest this year.
That's great.
And it's probably gonna, yeah, we could possibly go up more. So that's, that's great. A lot, we have a good amount of money in, we're basically unappropriated fund balance is cash. So the 06 cash, that is electric. That is also doing really well. Big problem, of course, is always the sewer, and that's the account starting with 11 cash. So right now it's negative $45,000. Electric bills, or sewer bills are due at the end of the month. So we will be posting. So we receive those funds and we'll be posting it to there, so we should.
Does that negative number reflect the number 6 payment? that we already made?
No.
Okay.
No, that'll.
I'm sorry, number 7 payment.
Right, I think that'll come out of a different,
Okay. come on.
well, it also, part of that is, when the money goes out for those pay apps, it takes a little bit of time to get them reimbursed.
Okay.
By EFC. And they were a little slow this time. You know, so we're doing really good financially, except for the sewer, which is,
That's okay.
yeah. Yeah, this is where, people are gonna be fast forwarding through this part.
You see that?
Wow.
Far east side of the swamp by U-19,
Oh, nice.
Black Bear.
Oh, where was it? I saw it, but I didn't say where it was.
Yeah, it
Swamp Road?
says far east side by Route 19 off of swamp property, but it's in the area.
Okay.
Pretty good sized bear. You've been back in any of those trails in the swamp?
Just on one off of,
Well, there's a trailhead off of Swamp Road. They don't have it listed anymore because they want you to come in off of Hessendollar, but that's right behind where I used to live. And I was back in there with the swamp caretaker in the springtime, and you get back in there about a half mile, and there's this big area they call it Hemlock Knoll. And there was areas like this, 20 or 30 of them, that were all scraped up.
oh, goodness.
And you can see the claw marks in the dirt, so there's definitely bears in there.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know, how many years ago was somebody got a big one?
Yeah, that was Jimmy Worthington.
500-pounder, right?
Yeah, it was more than that. I think it was closer to 650. It was huge.
That's,
Yeah, they got that off of, they were hunting off of Cole Road, east of Cole Road. It was kids were walking through cattails, and he's standing there waiting for the deer to come, and he heard the cattails rustle, and this thing came out running at him about 12 yards away. Scared the living hell out of him.
Sure.
But I saw it hanging in his garage, and that thing was huge. Head was bigger than a basketball.
That's life and death right there.
You take it down with deer slugs?
Yeah, he hit it once and kept coming, and he ended up hitting it twice in the head.
Lucky you have the boots about him to make that shot.
And these coyotes are really becoming a problem during daylight hours.
Oh, really?
On neighboring properties to the swamp. The guy, you know Paul Cooper, don't you?
Mhm.
He bought my old house.
Oh, yeah.
And they just fenced in an area in the backyard because they've got a couple of small dogs. And they seen them coming right up into the yard during daylight hours. And I've talked to a couple other people that have seen the same thing. So they fenced in a little area for their dogs so that they don't get carried away.
I've seen them behind your place, where you're at
I was
now.
gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
you gotta have them back there.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some driving just up by the Green Bridge, a couple crossing.
Mhm.
I saw a huge one up there one time.
Yeah, I've seen coyotes and
That was
fox
a
dogs
dog.
breaking
That was a
behind my
husky.
house.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah, Paul Cooper used to be the board.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right there?
Okay, got 2 more minutes. Paul, time goes by quick.
We always conducted other business in Churchville.
Yeah.
They'd open it, and if there's no, we'll move on. If somebody comes in, we'll move back to it.
I don't know if you, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't have.
Supposed to be a dedicated time period for just that. I don't know.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Easy money.
I like seeing you guys.
Should borrow that cards.
And that guy that lives down the street there with the big barn, did he ever end up selling that place?
No, he's still there. I saw him the other day. Actually, yeah. Dan Kennedy.
You still work for the phone company?
I don't know who he works for. I know one of the trucks in his yard is a company truck, and he told me he's all over the state, but I don't know. I thought he was RG&E, and I don't know what he did after he retired out there. He did like environmental cleanup and stuff, like a transformer would get knocked off a pole, and he'd come out, you know, clean the ground up and dig out the dirt, whatever that had to be done. That was what he did at RG&E.
Okay.
So I don't know if he does environmental. Whatever. I seen him, I think it was yesterday, he definitely works, he was hot, sweaty, dirty like I was, so he definitely out in the field doing something.
You gotta dig till you find clean dirt. That's what they do.
Don't find any oil, yeah.
Then you gotta find, when you find clean dirt, you can stop. Then they give you the bill and leave.
was a Has Whopper back in my day.
Hmm?
Has Whopper,
Is that what you called it?
that's what you're called.
No.
Clean up the
Has
Superfund
one.
sites.
I never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, when it was on Beetle Road. All right. Have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, move on to our regularly scheduled meeting. Okay, approval of the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the July 12th, 2023 meeting minutes. That was,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the July 31st,
I'll make a motion.
2023 meeting.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Here's report. As far as the ARPA funds, we're about ready to close out the ARPA account. We're gonna do a little more work on the shed up at the park to make it match the restrooms. We're gonna paint, color matching paint for vinyl siding. It's specially made for vinyl, and coordinate the colors with that with the bathrooms, and we think it'll fit in nicely there. We really don't have much storage space in the back of the restroom, so we could use that space of that shed. So pretty much gonna use the rest of the ARPA money to fix up that shed and put some landscaping around the front of it also, to kind of buffer the area.
Are the bathrooms sided now? I haven't been up in a little bit. I mean, you still have work to do on
They'll
that?
be, yes, they're scheduled to be finished by the 23rd of this month, actually.
Okay, that's the schedule.
Guys will be, rain, not, weather permitting, they'll be up there Friday working on them, and after brush Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, they'll be trying to finish it off.
So far, everything's working, no plumbing, electrical?
No, everything's
issues,
working good.
Everything's good,
Yeah.
concrete's holding, no cracks? all's
No,
well?
everything's good. We haven't had any vandalism.
Good,
Things are going good up there.
good, good workmanship.
So our administrator will be filing all the closeout paperwork with the state, listing all the projects and the expenditures of the ARPA funds. And that grant will be closed out, that ARPA money. The consolidated funding application, the park grant for the improvements to Hickory Park was submitted by Clark Patterson Lee on July 28th. We got to look it over just before it went in, and it looked very good, very promising, the grant, the way it was written. So now we wait and hope it's awarded to us. Working with Genesee County Economic Development to explore grants for future electric infrastructure upgrades. And talking about our substation upgrades that are coming up. I just got a call tonight, just before the meeting, before I came down here, that Eric Weiss called me and said they're meeting with Chris Swazi and Mark Massey, I believe, from Economic Development in Batavia, and they're having a conference call with the state development to see what's available, and maybe we can take advantage of, hopefully, for some grant money for the substation upgrade. So hopefully that works out for us. And again, they're making that conference call tomorrow. I can't say enough good about the Tree and Park Committee. We met up at the park on August 2nd. We did a thorough walkthrough of the whole park and identified areas in need of some TLC. So we'll see that those areas are addressed. And again, I just want to say thanks for all the committee members. Todd's one of the members. And Mike's wife, thank her, but without all these key people, these committees just they don't work, so it takes a lot of dedication, and I want to give a lot of thanks to those members who take part for our community. Jenny Kuzma races this Saturday at 8:30 at Hickory Park. So that's always a good turnout at the park for that day.
Same street closures as normal?
Yes, yep. It's usually 8:30 in the morning it starts, and usually by 9:30, the majority of the runners are, put it this way, that's when the awards are at 9:30, so most everybody's back in the park by then. But it's good for the community, good fundraiser. I spoke with the Chief Deputy Friday of the Genesee County Sheriffs. It seems like we're getting more and more speeding again, loud vehicles speeding, just a little of everything going on. So I called him and expressed my concerns and asked for more patrols here. And he's going to get together with Sergeant Hale and work that out and get us some more patrols out here. Been very busy with National Grid and interactions with National Grid concerning the sale of this West Sweden line and our interconnection agreement. So we've been going back and forth on that, and we still are a little bit, but we're winding down. And we should be putting, the final touches on that interconnection agreement anyways. Paul, maybe you know, I don't know. The question I have is I don't know where our interconnection agreement, where it starts and where it ends.
What they did in Churchville is they actually identified three pieces of wire, and that's where the change in ownership took place, so I'm sure they'll do something similar. They do that in case lightning hits something and, okay, maybe it hits that area, so if it's, their side of the wire, they fixed it. If it was the other side of the wire, Churchville was obligated to fix it. So that they will identify a section of wires.
They failed to do that so far. And that's why I haven't signed off on it. I even asked, I need your approval to even sign off, but I said, I can't even think about signing anything until
you have an ownership
I know where,
change.
Yeah, I can't, it's open-ended. I said, I can't.
Yeah.
So they're aware of that. He's working on it. And then,
I would think it would have to be the bell insulators where that connects to the steel structure. Not the steel structure, but the insulators themselves. They'll identify a specific part. Maybe you should take a few pictures, send it to them, and that would help expedite the process a little bit. That's what we did.
I did mention to him, inside our station, there's a gang switch. It's got a National Grid lock on it.
You own it.
Okay. But I told him that is
Bergen.
inside our station.
We had the exact same scenario when I worked for Churchville and had a National Grid, and they said, no, right here's where we own it, and that's it.
Okay.
So fortunately, we never really had to open it until we decommissioned the station, and it opened without an incident. Hopefully that's the case here, because I'm sure it's probably from the 60s.
50s.
50s. So
You'll
probably
grow.
hasn't been opened since then.
We don't
So,
want to open it, afraid it'll break.
Yeah, it would be a rare instance that you actually have to open that. I mean, that's the last line of protection, if you will, for incoming electricity. But there's a good chance that the village of Bergen owns that.
I was wondering if they'd take it all the way out to where the Bissell Road, that switches.
I don't think so. The reason I say that, Joe, is my brother owns a section of property through there, and I know National Grid mows it. They've got it tagged with their identification marks on the poles. They've got their warning signs up there, so my guess is it's going to be right at your station.
Well, that's what I told the rep. I said, the closer we get it to our station, the better I'll like it. Okay.
Maybe at some point you set a pole near our station and put a brand new overhead switch on it. And
That's in the study.
Make that the ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did mention that to him, that we will be replacing that switch. It's in the study that he performed.
Yeah.
And at that point, yes, that'd be a nice spot to say, here's our
Here's
connection
where we
point.
go, here's where we go.
Okay. I don't know if you noticed, but with the retaining wall around the fountain's gone now. We couldn't keep water in it. Anytime you put water in it and it was cascading down, the wind was blowing and blowing all the water outside of it. It turned into a big seaweed pit. So I eliminated it, and now we just got flowers planted in it. We're gonna repurpose the retaining blocks and use them elsewhere in the village. So, what else we got? We're still waiting for the rehabbing of the manholes for the storm or the wastewater for infiltration. That hasn't begun yet. And we're still awaiting the arrival of that natural gas generator, which has been in back order for months and months for the Gibson Place lift station. The electric, we've got our top circuit is now fully energized. It's tied in to the substation. It's so the industrial park. You got Liberty and that business next to it, whatever it is. I can't think of the name, but anyways, those are now on their own breaker up there. Fortunately, years ago when we rebuilt all these lines, we put that top circuit on, knowing that someday we would need it for that industrial park. And now we've utilized it and ran another set of lines into the substation to isolate it and use it. So it gets all the residential load off that circuit. Okay, I think that's all I got. Courtney, what do you got?
The only thing I have to add to my report is I met with a fellow representative today who sell EV chargers stations. So they're going to give me a quote for replacing the ones that we have. Doesn't seem too terribly promising, but it's worth a look from them. Everything else in my report.
Courtney, when a new truck comes, are they gonna be selling the one that we have currently?
Yes.
Did you list what we got for the, it's on here, right? Yeah, the zero turn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. That was really good money for that zero turn. It's the best we've ever done on one.
Yeah.
The guy's coming from Depew to pick it up. He bought one, a couple years ago from us.
That's good. It's funny because we were talking about the 550 and we were gonna call to see if we had to order a new salter for our truck that we have now, because the one we got now is in really bad shape, the salter. And winter's not far off, and we wanted to make sure we were prepared. And then lo and behold, we come back in and he gets a call. I said, call and see, and when that truck might be in. Oh, it's in. No phone call to let them know it's in. Just
So yeah, it came into the dealership and then they sent it to Tenco. It's just sitting in Tenco, but it would have been nice for the dealership to call and say, we received it and
yeah.
send it to get the body put on.
Tenco typically has a pretty quick turnaround rate.
They used to, but I mean, the last time we bought anything like that was before COVID. Who knows how long it'll take.
I would think
They said 45 to 60 days.
yeah.
The dealership, so.
By the end of October, we should have it, so it's good timing. What, 2 years?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Any questions on Courtney's report? Okay, how about the CEO report? Gary Sister's report.
No questions.
He did go over the plans today with me for the renovation up at the corner. They're making apartments out of that, up there at the corner.
83 South Lake.
83 South Lake. Around the corner, you know.
Side to side.
You're old enough, the old Fantasy Farms?
Oh, yeah. Really? Apartments.
Yeah. It's gonna look nice.
Yeah, you're old enough.
I,
2 years younger than I am.
yeah, I remember.
He's a old boy.
Started the
You rode your bike up there, yeah.
Restaurant too, one time, right?
Yeah, Sam's, yeah.
I completely forgot that name though. I didn't see that. Wow.
Still got it, but
You do.
You don't need no prevision.
Wow.
That's good. Okay, any questions on any of the reports? If not, I'll ask for a motion to accept the reports.
I'll make a motion to accept the reports as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's go. Trustee concerns, Mike?
Nobody has brought a concern to me, Joe.
Okay. Scott?
Nope, nothing this month.
No concerns.
Okay. Emily was unable to make the meeting tonight. Okay, no concerns. Okay, new business. First thing for new business is the sewer improvement payment number 7. Again, this is submitted to the village for work that has been completed. And STC has sent this bill saying this is what we owe currently. So it's a payment of $10,925.
These are monthly or bi-monthly or just, like, 'cause this says 7. When you say 7, what's that, 7 out of 12?
Milestones, pretty much,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know, there's, I don't know if there's like an end.
Okay.
There's not, it just, when the project is finished, they, as they go, they bill us.
Okay.
And
For
this
the-
is the 7th billing that they've
I
submitted.
did $434,000, this was number 7. Got it.
Right, I
Okay.
think they slowed down quite a bit.
Our engineering firm checks over the work and checks this over prior to us seeing it as well.
Right.
And it goes through Municipal Solutions, they review everything, and then it gets sent to EFC, and they review everything, and then reimburse us.
A lot of eyes, a lot of checks.
Yeah.
We constantly get emails saying, asking for more information, you know,
Okay.
before they approve these, so. So is there a motion to pay this?
I will make a motion to pay the bill.
Is there a second?
I will second to pay improvement number 7.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next thing on our agenda is the sale of the West Sweden line to National Grid. I think you've all got it. Again, our attorney's looked it over, and he said he's good to go with this. I guess I'm just gonna entertain a motion to, for the sale of this West Sweden line, the assignment assumption, bill of sale agreement, honor that.
I will make a motion to sell the West Sweden line in the amount of $1 for the contract.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, done. Okay, the next thing on here is our interconnection agreement, which we discussed a little bit. It's not finalized yet. I did call our lawyer at the MUA, Ken Bedoni, and he sent me a copy of Boonville's interconnection agreement that was signed with National Grid. And it's just over 80 pages long. And I compared theirs to ours. This is ours here. I've got windows in the other room. Page for page, I went page by page, they're identical. You can pick any page you want, open it up, and open up the other one, and it's all the same language. It was drafted in coordination with the MUA some years ago, so that's why it's all the same. They tried to come up with a blanket interconnection agreement for all the municipals, and that's what I've got a copy of. Like I said, compared to page by page, they're all the same. The only things that are different are, it's called Exhibit A, I believe, and it spells out the exact point
Of ownership.
where we're responsible, I don't have that yet. So I told him that I could not sign off on that yet. He asked if the board might give me approval to sign off on that once I do get it and I'm satisfied with it. That's up to the board to decide if they want to give me the authority to do that.
It'll be checked over by our attorney as well.
Yeah, the attorney would check it over.
You probably have an ownership connection point in mind. Do you feel it's likely that they will agree to what you're thinking?
Then I don't know, Paul. You know, I'm gonna look out for the village here.
They obviously have to go to the steel structure. Without it, their wire can't just go up there.
Correct.
So it's gotta be
So my question I
that string of
have,
insulators or that piece of iron that it actually connects to.
I guess the question I have then, why did they take yours out a few spans? Why wasn't yours right to the station?
Ours is to the station, I say ours. Go to Churchill's is to the station, to an open air switch. But just before the switch, it comes over in dead ends, and then 3 tap wires tap down to the switch. Those tap wires were the actual point of ownership change.
Okay,
They own the pole, they own cross arms, they own the 3 sets of insulators, they own the conductors to it, and then on those wires, the top connections were National Grid's, the bottom connections were the Village of Churchill's.
okay.
So, if you're out there with a FLIR camera, you could see the lower set or the upper set was heating up and it had an issue. You knew who owned it, whose responsibility it was. You still had to involve National Grid to shut that down because it was
Right.
ahead of the Village of Churchill's switch.
Right.
But, if it burned up and it had to be fixed, it was the Village of Churchill's obligation to fix it. So that's how they did it. And if someday you want to take a drive over there soon, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. You probably had the same scenario pretty close over here. You probably dead end to the steel, and then there's probably some sort of connection wire.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's probably where your ownership change should be.
And we do have one pole just outside the station fence.
I wouldn't own any of the wood. If it ever fell over, you'd have a heck of a time getting in there, you'd wind up renting a machine. Do you know for sure if you've got an easement that pole's sitting on? So there's a lot of things that you'd have to know in advance before you can say that pole. I would stick with the steel if you could. That's my thoughts.
I told him it's just as close as we can get to that station is where I want it. And he understands
And
that.
that string of insulators I would agree to that, this string of insulators that connect to the steel,
Okay.
somewhere right there.
Well, again, if you want to give me authority to be able to sign that once it comes in, if you're not comfortable doing that, then
I don't have an issue
I don't have
giving
an
you
issue.
authority, but I certainly can't speak for the other board members.
Yeah, I don't have an issue giving authority either.
I mean, I'm going to look out for the village here.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to sign anything until it's right. And I could even let you guys know where that point of attachment interconnection will be.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, if there's a disagreement or something, obviously we'll table it, but,
Okay.
if it's in the village best interest in that, no problem with the
Okay.
authority.
Okay, so I need a motion
I will
then.
make a motion for the mayor to sign the interconnection agreement with National Grid with the ownership to be determined at the discretion of the mayor.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. Takes care of this. Throw this over there. Ooh, cliffhanger, it's gonna go. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is the electric substation, the replacement. Okay, we've got this from PLM, Mike Barrett of PLM, the engineer. He's the engineer who came out here and did the scope of service, which I just want to point out that even when he did this engineering scope of service, the amount that was quoted was $14,300 for that scope of service. He billed us for $3,200. Okay, so just because you see a number, that number was, 14,300 was the amount that they could go up to without further approval of this board. We got the bill was $3,200, okay? So that, I commend them for that. Because you're kind of at their mercy. So, okay, anyways. This is the PLM scope of services. It outlines pretty much everything that PLM would do. You see the price. I think you can see this price and say, yeah, I can understand that. You know, you oversaw a substation being built.
Yeah, typically it's a percentage of a project, so this doesn't appear to be. And honestly, I've had at least 2 different projects that I've worked with PLM on, and I believe both of them were under the proposed scope that they, or the initial cost that they provided. So, you know, they're very thorough, but they're also an honest company. And this is really all that they do. They're not designing buildings, it's all high voltage energy. That's what they do.
I did call Eric Weiss, our village engineer, to see if he thought this amount was in line percentage-wise, and he thought it was. He said he thought it was reasonable. I know it jumps out at you $190,000 for engineering, but in the electric market, that's the way it is.
Well, they're gonna be busy with, you know, if they carry out all this, this listed in scope of services. There's definitely some travel time, probably some overnights, a ton of phone calls, and a whole host of information between us, them, vendors, suppliers, and contractors. So, you know, they're involved with it from start to finish until you get going. So, testing, all that sort of thing. So, I don't think that 190 is out of line.
Okay. I've heard nothing but good about PLM.
You've worked with that firm for your entire career with the
MUA.
the village of Bergen since you started. So,
Yeah.
and I have too for the last 34 years. And yeah, very thorough, very, very good firm to work with.
And like Paul said, this is what they do, electric, you know. So if we pass this tonight, we would let Mike Barrett know, and the ball would start rolling on him coming up with specs for the equipment, you know, submitting things for bids to the contractors. And the substation will then be on its way. There's lead times in here of 60 weeks, I think was the farthest out for the equipment. I mean, the first option is definitely out of the question at over $7 million.
Yeah.
But the second option is very doable, and I don't see where we have any choice, really.
We're pretty much done accepting customers for the most part, at least large-scale customers, until we act.
Yeah.
And, you know, given the history of the stations before, we don't have the capability to back up one station to the other in the summer and keep everybody on the
Correct.
energy that they want. We're kind of pushed into a corner to act sooner rather than later. Every day we wait, the price of this just
Keeps going up.
is higher and higher. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's going to be a big project for the village of Bergen, but it's a necessary project. We make a lot of our money comes off the sale of energy.
Sure, yeah. And the equipment's not getting any younger, I understand. It's getting-
Everything's going electric. Mandates for no more gas homes after 2025. Where gasoline cars are going to be in 10 or 15 years is a guess, but my guess is it's going to migrate more and more towards electricity. So we need to be ahead of the curve. We can't be brownouting or blackouting our customers. So I think we need to act.
And this will fill with Oxbow going up to the industrial park, that'll fill the industrial park. It's the last land they have for sale up there. So this will fill the park. That would be all done, and then there's still capacity for homes on Parkview.
We are obligated to serve our franchise area. So if you buy a vacant lot in the village of Bergen, we can't say, sorry, we're too full for you. We're obligated to serve them. We can't push those customers over to National Grid. We are obligated to serve them there in the boundaries of our franchise area.
Mike, you have any questions on this?
No, just impact to the budget, Courtney. I mean, I know that's a loaded question.
Yeah,
I mean, is this an upfront payment? And I'm just a novice here, so.
sure. So for the project itself, and for this, we'll go for financing. We'll get a bond anticipation note,
Okay.
and that way we'll have money up front from that. So it won't affect the budget. The money will come out for the band, and then when the project's done, we're going for long-term financing, and that's when it'll start affecting the budget. We typically don't go out for long-term financing until probably a year or two after the job is complete. So it's going to take probably 2 years to get it complete, so probably 3 years, 4 years to make this budget.
In the meantime, you're drawing out of that, what they call a band. You're drawing your money out of that as you need it. Maybe you need to pay PLM and you need money down on equipment, you pay out of that band. And then once you finalize your price, then like Corey said, you send the whole package out to bond them.
Yeah.
Kind of a building loan.
Okay.
So until it's done, really, you don't know what the final payment will be,
Okay.
because you don't know how much of that money you're gonna use.
Yep. Okay. Is there public hearings on the proposal for the new substation? Do we do anything like that down the road, or is this just all board generated or approving
There'll be one for the financing.
Yeah.
for the financing? So this project will move forward at the board's discretion?
Once you get all the numbers back, when he bids it all out and all the contractors, then you have a firm number,
Mhm.
and then you have a public hearing.
Okay. And do we have an estimated time frame for that? I mean, I see what they're saying here, but, I mean, are we talking 6 months, a year?
You're probably 4 to 6 months away.
Yeah,
You'll
I
sure
would
have some
say
pretty close numbers.
yeah,
Just trying to
6
get
months.
Your vendors will,
Time.
you'll have it out to bid at that point.
Yeah, you guys working this one, I'm sure.
Contractor probably would be selected by that point.
Okay.
We're not acquiring any property, right? Okay.
Well, if you read this, it says we anticipate having bidding documents prepared for the long lead time, major equipment within 4 to 6 weeks of notice to proceed. And based on the longer lead time equipment, we anticipate most of the detailed design will be performed in early spring of 2024, with construction taking place in late summer, fall of 2024.
Okay.
that they will put things up for bid for contractors that will do the work, and then they'll advise us on which contractor they feel would probably be best for our needs here, and then the board will decide, which contractor you want to use.
Okay, so we need a proposal for this particular,
Yes, I need a
or a
motion.
motion, I'm sorry.
I think we probably should have a second motion for the project itself to
Go forward.
move forward. So we have it on the books.
Okay. Let's do that first then. Make a motion to move ahead with the new substation.
I'll make a motion to move ahead to the new substation.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we need a motion to hire PLM as our engineer on this project.
I'll make a motion to hire PLM, with the budget amount of $190,000 without prior authorization.
I'll second
Okay.
that motion.
Up to 190.
Up to 190.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, the next thing on here is the Tully building. You were all sent the two bids and work experience from the two contractors. We need the board members' thoughts on this, which way you'd like to go.
I was able to look it over pretty thoroughly. From my perspective, I felt Dilcher's Excavating and Contracting was a good bid. I think they have experience within our village. Not to say that Zerstone doesn't have a lot of experience. It seems like they have a lot of historical experience as well, but their bid was almost 20,000 over what I think we need. So, in my opinion, I think we should go with Dilcher's, but that's my assessment.
He's worked on this building. Has he done pointing type work here?
He's done a little bit on the very back,
Okay.
and then they did, well, I can't tell what they did in the front, because when they put all the steel girders in to support everything out here, they actually knocked through the brick to put them through there, but when they replaced the brick, everything was painted, so you really can't see how color matched,
I see.
how it
Nobody's
turned
gonna
out.
guarantee a color match on brick, obviously, right?
The more.
Okay, more than. I personally, worked with Dilchers on a number of projects, but probably nothing historical, like this sort of thing. I know he did work for the town of Rygon on cobblestone, and that was repointing and, stones that had fallen out, things like that. It wasn't extensive, I would say, probably, he was there probably 3 weeks doing that, and that was quite some time ago, but I'm pretty certain that the town of Rygon was okay with the work that was done. So, I agree with Mike, that's a big price difference, so maybe contractors that do historical type work charge a little more because they probably can. So.
Would you supervise the work, Courtney? Is that the way it would work, or is there someone set to do that in the village, or?
No, not really. I mean, you can go out there and look at it, but,
Would our building inspector take a
Gary?
close up on the scaffolding type look?
Probably not.
Would we consider hiring Clark Patterson Lee to kind of put a set of eyes on it weekly or something? No?
I can't just, Not-
Okay.
I shouldn't have to justify it. If a contractor's gonna do the work, he should be able
Yeah,
to
that's
perform it
true.
without having somebody
Okay.
bird dog over him.
Well, if we go with the higher bid, we have to justify why, and, you know, with the information or lack of information that he didn't put in here, I can't, in my mind, justify going with
Well,
with the higher bid.
He does specialize in matching
Yes.
original mortar joint color style. And I've looked at some of the pictures of the work that this guy's done, and it is very impressive. I mean, he does specialize in historical work. You're right, I mean, it's $20,000 more.
We have painted brick out there, don't we?
Is that?
It's painted brick,
No.
none of it?
I'm just concerned that Marty's guys may not be able to match this to the level that what we're looking to achieve. I don't know.
It's definitely a situation where we want to make sure, and whoever we hire, we got to be very certain that they're going to do a really good job and match it historically, as being a historic building. And not look at it and really see the new parts. You know, be really confident in who we choose.
What was our budget amount that we had set aside for this, do you remember?
Well, that's the next
Well, yeah.
part of this. We got an additional 31,528 from sales tax. That, you know, we didn't expect to get. And I've been talking with Courtney on this, and no matter which one we go with here, Courtney and I both feel that we have enough in the unappropriated fund balance to make up the difference.
To just do the whole.
Do the whole thing, because if
Yeah.
either one of them have to keep coming back, it's gonna cost more, they told us that.
Right, right.
If they're here on site, they do it all, it's gonna be cheaper in the long run. Again, our night-class interest has really helped us out, and it'd be nice to take care of this whole thing at once.
Well, in my opinion, Dilchers have been, I've known throughout Genesee County, that's why I've always known them, they had reputable work. I don't know about historical matching, that's not in my expertise. I would have to believe that the contractor is gonna bring it to our specs, either one, so that's just my opinion. I don't, and for me, as a board member, I'd rather go with the less costly bid for the village.
I guess I agree with you, Mike, on that. Just a little bit. I mean, that's
Little
the
bit.
whole
I
point
mean,
of
it's,
putting it out there.
At 20,000, if it was within $5,000, of course, you want to go with someone who has a longer list of, experience, but for $20,000, I can't go with Preservist.
Ted?
I'm gonna disagree with everyone. I think the better fact, even though it's more money, this guy's got a track record for preservation work on historical buildings. And I think that would be a better choice.
Yeah, I see that point too.
I mean, everybody's been in a business where we've dealt with low bidders before. And not to say that Marty's guys couldn't do the work, but this guy's, President Stone's got a very good record for what they do.
I guess just when I look at the bids here, I just see, both south wall, got one guy at 28 and one at 37, and it's a complete difference on the other walls, and I'm just trying to figure out what they were looking at and why they think it would be a different.
Yeah.
If you look at west wall, you got Dilcher at 11.8, west wall on Preserve, he's got 6.4. You know what I mean? So it's just numbers, in my opinion, that they're, estimating a total bid, but, breaking it out, I get it, but, in our specs, I think we were pretty clear with what we needed, correct, with matching. and this is the bids they came in on. And again, I have an obligation to the taxpayers who put me on this board, so gotta go with a little bit. But this just might be something you need to have only here for.
Yeah, I agree.
And vote that way. Looks like we're just,
Your low bidder, if you accepted the higher bid, your low bidder could protest and stall you for a while too. He has a right to,
it's just not close, that's the problem.
yeah.
Make it a little closer.
Well, let's table it for one more meeting then, and I'm with you.
Did they give an estimated time frame? I just, this is very limited, this is just a bid, did they give a time frame for the work? Like, I mean, this is something we wanted to have done before the snowfall.
I was hoping to, yeah.
So-
We're running out of,
Do you want to bring it to a vote and see where we're at? Did
uh,
you get a vote on this or not?
yes, I get a vote too.
So, I mean, it's up to you.
I'm kind of with Todd.
Go with higher? Okay.
Just because of the expertise involved here and the finished product, I think we'll see. I could be wrong.
Mushki works up top.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just, in my opinion, again, it's not where the majority of our people. I get it, we want preservation.
Well, right now, water's coming in the
I know.
building, the rain, so.
Right?
I said, I'd like to talk with Mark and see exactly, if he could play the matching mortar and,
Yeah, see what he's thinking, that's fine, either way. I don't know the other guy, I don't know either of them personally.
yeah, I don't know the other guy.
I've never talked to either of them.
Legally, if you reach out to one, you have to reach out with both with a written question.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it comes down to it, that's the key thing, is you want to match what's here. With the color and the style of the mortar and everything.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't want to spend more money either.
I don't know enough about it, but, I mean, how different can it be? I mean, the brick obviously could be way off, but the mortar itself, and, if it's above the windows, I'm looking at that picture behind Courtney, I gotta notice it.
That's my point. If it's eye level, of course, that's a little different, but, it's more rain present, keeping rain and water and wind out of this building. So,
Joe, who did the pointing on the building of the lodge over there?
That was Bobby Brown,
Okay.
working for Thompson Buildings.
Okay.
He did a nice job.
Well, whatever you want to do, you want to put it up for a vote, or you want to?
Let's table it till Emily's here.
Hate to not get it started though.
We-
Did either bidder say anything about warranty or issues moving forward? It's not holding. I didn't see anything in what you sent electronically. I read that long string of email coming in. Do we think that Dilgers will protest the bid?
That I don't know.
If you folks are confident we've got the money, and it's the way you want to go, then
And I just think we're accountable to the taxpayers. I mean, it's just such a vast difference of money. And yes, we got the money, but that is the taxpayers' money.
Right, no, I agree. I know what you're saying.
I get it, we're in a better place, but might not be there next year. And I'm concerned about making sure this building lasts. We want it to look good.
Is this building listed as a historic building?
Yes.
Is there any criteria in regards to repairs or anything?
Not with your own money.
No.
Now, we checked, Courtney called the Historical Society, and
If it's a grant, there could be stipulations on it, but it's not. Is there anything we want to reach out to both bidders on in written format? Do we want clarification? Do we want warranty? Do we want anything from them?
why don't
Do
we,
we want a written explanation of how they're going to match?
I want to take the board out back real quickly.
Okay.
And look at that back wall.
Okay.
Sure.
Future.
I'll ask a question before we get out there. Are we, you're not gonna ask Thompson for a bid?
He didn't submit.
They didn't-
We
He
can't.
didn't submit? Okay, that's easy.
We sent more than a dozen packets out to potential people.
2005.
Yeah. No. That was after that one.
Yeah, it had to be after 2005, because I was here, I started in 2010.
Yeah, the door open?
And the village
I don't know.
moved in, it was built in 2009. So I don't think the village owned the building until 2005. So it had to be probably built in 2009.
Yeah.
I remember them putting that, the steel beam through there, so.
Yeah, there had many beams going through, because we waited to put the tenant in a hotel,
No.
couldn't live in there. Okay, well,
Well, we've all looked at it. You can accept or reject the bid based on experience, based on perceived skill set. Certainly Preserve a Stone is probably more suited to do a historical restoration. I certainly understand what Mike's saying, we got 20 grand, could we use it somewhere else? Absolutely. But in the interest of not letting that go any longer than it really has to, I guess I'd be inclined to go with Preserve a Stone. And we just have to be prepared for realtors protesting the bid. We'd have to have a written explanation as to why we felt this firm was better suited to do it. We certainly could say the resume certainly aligns more with the building that we have and the type of work that we're doing. So you just need to be careful when you're not taking the low bid is all I'm cautioning the board.
okay, let's put it up for a bid, or up for a motion then. I really don't want to wait another month, because we're gonna, I'd like to see this get done before winter.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Preserve a Stone in the amount of $63,450.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. That's carried. Okay, now, as I said, there's we received $31,528 in sales tax revenue that we didn't expect to receive. That's already been put in the unappropriated fund balance. If we take that money and add 31,922 to that, we can complete this whole project at the 63,450. Is there a motion to take 3,100, or actually it's the whole amount under the appropriated, correct, Courtney?
Yes, that's correct.
Can I
It'd be
ask a
the-
question before motion?
Sure.
Where did the extra $31,000 come from?
Sales tax revenue, the county,
The county's giving it to the village version?
They already did.
they already did.
Yeah, back in February.
It's not additional village of Bergen taxpayer money, anything like that out of our
No,
budget?
that
No way, shape, or
came-
form?
It was above and beyond what the county had promised.
And this board hasn't earmarked that money for anything else? Okay.
So again, if we take the full 63,450 out of the unappropriated, we can pay for this whole project. Rather than just doing this and saying, come back next year and do this or whatever.
Right. And we also lose $20,000 of money that could be used elsewhere in the village. Okay.
Is there a motion to take 63,450 out of the unappropriated fund balance for the purpose of restoring the building, the Tully building brickwork.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
I oppose.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll get a hold of them and see how soon they can get going on the four-wheeler. Privilege of the floor.
Well, maybe because Thompson didn't give you a bid, maybe I told you something, they didn't want to touch it. Maybe they looked at it and said no.
Their plate's pretty full too.
Yeah. But they like money too, right?
They do, but you can only do so much with
Yeah,
the crew
I know.
that they have, so.
And as far as I know, they didn't come look at it.
Oh,
I think they
it's a small
talked to me
village,
when
it's
I
a small
looked at it.
village, probably somebody told them.
Over 13 bid packets went out to different contractors in the area, all of which were given to us by Historical Society, recommended by them.
You get money from the historical society?
No, they
That thing we were
just,
doing, talking about?
no money's coming from the Historical Society, they just deal with that stuff.
Oh.
So we wanted their input.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. A lot of work tonight, you guys.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
job.
a lot. Thank you, guys. A lot of
Yeah.
work's not here.
Shorter than next month, right?
I hope so, yeah. A lot going on.
Yeah, they're all fairly big projects too.
Is this for me, or is this?
Yeah, I can mail for everybody.
Oh, okay.
If you want some fun reading.
Yeah, I'm back. It's Miller time.